Elementary school really ate ass, bro. If you really want to know what the abyss known as hell really is, walk into any public school and see for yourself. I'm pretty sure even Satan himself wants nothing to do with it, and it's all because these soulless infidels reside here. Some of the invalids you're gonna find here are dumb kids repping gang, dumb kids fighting in the hallways, dumb kids getting pregnant or doing the pregnation, dumb teachers, and just dumb kids in general. The only valid niggas you're gonna find here are the anime niggas, and even then, depending on the public school, some of these anime niggas are actual snitches. They like sleeper agents from the Cold War or something. And 12 times out of 9, they like to hide the fact that they ain't real. If you know you're not to be trusted, don't go out of your way to make yourself look like you down. You really is a clown and you wasting everyone's time. I remember in elementary school, this invalid decides to go and snitch on me because I was cracking jokes with my friend, and it wasn't even me who started it. The op nigga was right there and he heard the fucking nigga start the joke, and it wasn't even a crazy joke. We was just telling Family Guy jokes. This nigga said they called him Count Pussila and all he do is fucking bite the pussy. Keep in mind we in elementary school, and I'm pretty certain that at that time none of us has fucking gotten our dicks wet. The only time we got our dicks wet was in the shower. So what was the fucking point of snitching? Like, did it fill you up or something? I never had a good time in these public schools, mostly because I end up taking L every time I try to do something. I could be getting jumped in the hallway and the teacher would walk over and hand me a fucking L, giving me a suspension for getting fucking jumped. A nigga wouldn't even be doing anything crazy, and yet I got a fat L after fat L just for fucking existing. It came to the point where I started to think that everyone was out to get me, and I wasn't wrong. These teachers were literally searching for my black ass, asking around for me like I was the second coming of Jesus. Elementary school was ass. I remember we had these magnet tag shit, and every morning you gotta move the fucking tag to the section you want for lunch. We had hot lunch, cold lunch, and pizza, which is a fucking L. The hot lunch was whatever piece of garbage they had in the microwave. The cold lunch was literally fucking cereal, and the pizza was a square piece of cardboard. The lunch system was whack as fuck, so if halfway through your day you decide you actually need hot food, tough shit nigga, you stuck with what you got earlier. And then it's not like you can show up and go and get your food in the lunchroom. You gotta go sit at a table, and then the most quiet table gets to get up and collect their food, which was super ass, cause the niggas I sat with was fucking total retards. So at the end of the day, my table went last, and my hungry ass would be stuck with cold pizza like 15 minutes to eat. There was only one good thing about elementary school. It came around like once every 4 weeks, 5-layer bean dip, and that shit was fire, but then slowly it just started to disappear. It went from 5 layers to 3 layers, and then eventually got ended. That shit had me distraught. Deadass, the only good thing about my miserable existence at that point was wiped out of existence, and it's all Michelle Obama's fault. Deadass, fuck her. The school really did me dirty because I was foreign. They literally treated me like I was one of them invalid. They sat me in this ESL or ELA class to teach me English, which was retarded. Just because I'm from Africa doesn't make me incapable of speaking English. The only thing holding me back was an accent, and even then my grammar skills were better than these masses. I mean, it wasn't total ass. I got to skip some of the boring classes to go do ELA, but then I'd have to make up the work, which was extra ass. And it wasn't like we was doing anything crazy in ELA. We just sit and read, which was pretty chill. And the ELA teacher was one of the nicest people in the school. She was mad nice, and to this day I haven't forgotten her. I hope Jesus walks by her side. She's the only teacher that reached out to the boy. I remember I told her I wanted to be a rapper or something, and she didn't even laugh. She just said she was finna cheer me on or something, and then she bought me a book at the book fair. I remember that shit. I read that book in like one day, and I still have that book to this day. That's what a teacher is supposed to do. They're supposed to leave a fucking impression on the child and make them love to learn. But these trash teachers probably missed that memo, because they really loved to be assholes to me, especially when I was at that school. But that's either here or there. Also, we had 2 breaks in my elementary school. We had snack time and then actual recess. Snack time was lame. We just sat at our desk and ate, but cause a nigga African, I never brought no snacks with me, so I spent the time drawing and shit. Recess wasn't even anything crazy either. I wasn't about to play with them op niggas, so I dipped out of that. Plus, they didn't play any sports that I liked. They always wanted to play football, which was retarded, cause half these niggas can't throw, and the other half of these niggas slow as hell. One time I played, and apparently you're not supposed to body people when you play with them, so I had to quit that shit, cause them teachers got mad when I decked the bitch nigga and sent him flying. He wasn't even hit that bad, but this nigga decided to be a pussy and cry mad loud about it, so they made me stay inside for the rest of recess, and then had me apologize to him, which was bullshit. He was the one saying I couldn't play the game right, yet he being a pussy and crying. After that, a nigga kept to himself when it came to recess. Then this Indian nigga showed up from Minnesota, and turned out he liked anime too, so we just chilled out and shit, playing on his DS and sharing his talkies. Turned out we lived in the same apartment complex, so we built some sort of friendship on the bus ride home. We would hang out and play with this nigga's Beyblade. Again, I'm African, so my parents wasn't about to waste money on Beyblade, which was retarded, because they was more than willing to give their money away to crackheads, but couldn't hand me a $10 bill to buy 3 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Anyways, he moved away like 2 years later. Then the nigga was left alone on the bus. The bus rides were even more retarded after that. Them rides really made me feel some type of way, especially with these fat Hispanic hoes at the back of the bus. They were real hoes. Man, niggas surprised that there's so many hoes around lately, but I've been peeped at those thoughts before the word thought even got invented. I remember they would always have something to say to me, just because I was the first African they ever met. I wasn't about to beat no girls, but I knew they were mad goofy. Also, to make things worse, I had the most African dad that there was. To save money, he would cut my hair, which was an L, because he killed any chance of me having a social life for the next 6 years. He would insist on cutting my hair every 3 weeks. I wouldn't have cared if the cut was actually clean, but it wasn't. He would give me the most ugliest cut imaginable. Imagine being 9 and having a bald head going to elementary school. I didn't even get a lineup, just a straight bald head, which was the fattest L you could ever hand a kid. And after his cut, I'd have to go and shower with a bar of soap. So now I got a bald head and I'm cold, and I have hair sticking in my ears and soap in my crack. Then I have to go to school in the winter with a cold ass head, and then get greeted by the invalids so that they can roast my ass. This shit really made me hate clippers. And even when we went to the barber shop, he insisted on giving me the fattest a father could give a son, other than being ugly. He'd make them give me the Terry Crews special, which was even more awful. I was convinced this man was out to get my life, but at least there was some grace because at least I got a fucking lineup. I remember when I first went to school in an actual lineup, niggas was congratulating me and shit, which kinda made me feel valid. But then these ops had to show up and put their hands on my bald head, rubbing it like it was some sort of magic lamp, which really wasn't cool. That was mad dirty, and I wanted to end their life for that shit. But then the teacher walked in and we had to disperse like a herd. Eventually I started resisting the humiliation my father wanted to put me through, and it just led to him acting shifty on me. We'd go to the barbershop and I'd tell the Puerto Rican nigga what I wanted, and then somehow I'd get the same ass cut that my dad wanted me to get. At this point I realized that these barber niggas didn't care if a nigga got hurt at school. It would have been okay if that was all that was going on, but I remember one time I brought my fat HP tablet to school and showed it off to mad heads thinking I was the one. And my tablet was crazy, it had mad games and shit on it, so I was feeling myself. But some niggas didn't like that, and I got snitched on, which shows you it don't matter where you at, they won't let black niggas rise. I've been snitched on so many times by these niggas. One time I wrote some fire ass bars, and we was in the bathroom and I pulled them shits out, ready to spit and get respect from these unknowns. I felt like 8 Mile at that point. And then this nigga goes and snitches on me to the teacher, saying I was saying bad words and shit. We had this retarded teacher, and she really wanted to tell some lies. So somehow my fire bars I didn't steal from rapgenius.com turned into a suicide note, and then they called my parents to the school and told them that I was contemplating suicide, which is mad retarded. I was 9. What does a 9-year-old about to do contemplating suicide? And that's one of the things that made me hate the hellhole, which is elementary school, even more. These teachers really love to tell their lies on me. If you pull up my files, I bet you somewhere they're gonna say I fucking killed somebody. They really did the most to make me look like a problem, and I couldn't even defend myself. That environment was really bad for my health. Also, I had a crush on this Haitian shorty, and I just knew that she was mad cute. Also, she lived in the same complex as me, so I always saw her from time to time, and I thought she was just mad pretty and swell. Eventually, she dubbed my ass. Honestly, it was my fault, because I was a weird nigga with no social graces, but not really. Regardless, she was the first black chick I saw at that school who didn't act like a total op. That led a nigga to start dreaming, because these other black girls were ugly with nappy ass heads and snitching attitude, but that's a story for another day. Okay guys, I need y'all to hit that subscribe button, slap that notification bell, just try and help me get to that fucking 1K so that I can cash out on these views and shit, and stay crisp with my niggas, but more importantly,